convicted of involuntary manslaughter.
The violence captured national headlines and fueled true crime podcasts.
After she was finished stabbing Chad 108 times.
So extreme, it drove some to protest.
Justice for Chad! She's a murderer! She's been convicted! She needs to go to prison!
Now the woman behind the mugshot is ready to talk.
I mean, this is her choice. This is nobody making her do anything.
I'm just like sweating bullets right now.
It sucks.
One of the people Bryn got to know was Chad O'Melia. A few weeks after they met, Chad was dead. Bryn charged with his murder.
I had no intention to hurt him. I never would hurt anybody.
It was Memorial Day weekend. After a visit to the dog park, Bryn and Chad went back to his apartment where he offered her marijuana in a bong. It was legal. Bryn was an inexperienced user. What happened next shattered two families when Bryn unexpectedly became violent.
It was the most horrific thing to watch, because there was no thought or emotions or feelings, sensory feelings of any kind. There was nothing. And it was just like I was watching a TV screen of just all this awful thing happening.
With what prosecutors say was 3 knives from the kitchen, she stabbed Chad, the serrated edges of the knives leaving him with 108 wounds.
Dissociation of reality. And you don't have no sense of time, you have no sense of judgment, morality, emotions. It's the scariest thing.
Ventura County Sheriff's deputies responded, their body cameras recording. That video evidence remains under seal, but both Bryn's defense team and the Ventura County prosecutor have watched it many times.
She carved up his face. The stabbing was horrific.
One of the deputies shoots her with a taser gun 4 times. So these electrical wires go into her body 4 times. She keeps stabbing herself.
Another deputy forced to use his metal baton for the first time in his career. It took 9 blows to break Bryn's arm, finally freeing the knife from her hands.
They saved my life, and I'm forever grateful for them.
Bryn, covered in blood, was rushed to the hospital where she underwent surgery and survived her 43 stab wounds. Her mom flew from Chicago to take care of her.
She was going, ask Chad what happened. I don't know what happened.
It was just a matter of trying to, just consciously waking up. It was a matter of trying to explain to the detectives what I was experiencing, but saying it in a way where it was like, but I know I didn't do it, but I saw this happening.
Bryn spent 6 days in jail. Prosecutors initially charged her with murder, but over the course of the years-long investigation, just months before her trial, they reduced the charge to involuntary manslaughter. The reason? Experts on both sides agreed. Her actions were the result of a cannabis-induced psychosis.
This is really rare, but it can happen. It's known to happen. There's been human experimental studies that have shown that if you give people high levels of THC directly into their bloodstream, you can elicit psychotic symptoms.
He says those most at risk of experiencing cannabis-induced psychosis are people with mental illness or people who have a family member with a psychotic disorder.
Is it possible for someone to become violent when they wouldn't normally be?
It's possible, depending on the degree of psychosis. So if people are perceiving things in the environment to be threatening, for example, that they ordinarily wouldn't, or when there actually is no threat, certainly one reaction of that could be, for example, fear or withdrawal. Under certain circumstances, it could be heightened aggression.
Nope.
Late last year, a jury convicted Bryn.
When you were waiting for that sentencing, what did you think was going to happen?
Oh, I really thought I was going to prison.
But that's not how the judge saw it. Court transcripts quote him saying, "No one could have foreseen that a single hit of marijuana that night would have caused Miss Spejcher to have a total psychotic break from reality. Certainly not Chad, and certainly not Miss Spejcher. In light of these facts, I do not believe that further incarceration of Miss Spejcher is appropriate."
Yeah, good boy.
He sentenced her instead to 2 years probation and 100 hours community service, specifically educating the public on the dangers of THC.
That this judge absolved this defendant of really any responsibility other than the fact that she's convicted sends a very dangerous message.
Chad's father calls the sentence a travesty of the system.
What does she have to do? Nothing? Nothing after taking another human being's life? That's not accountability. Probation, talking to people. I mean, that's not justice.
What do you want the Amelia family to hear from you now?
I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that they have to live with a hole in their life and will forever not be able to be with Chad anymore. And that they have to grieve. And I just hope and pray that they find some compassion and forgiveness.
Cannabis-induced psychosis is the extreme of that. It's still very rare, but we're sitting here because it's happening.
I just hope that my story will save somebody else's life.
Bryn is appealing her conviction for that felony as she works to obtain a license here in Illinois to continue her career as an audiologist. As part of her community service, she's teaming up with an advocacy group called Every Brain Matters that fights what it calls the expansion of drug culture.
What up, everyone? Thank you for coming back to my channel. As usual, I do appreciate it. First of all, I want to say RIP to Chad. This honestly is one of the biggest travesties in the justice system that I've ever seen. I seriously, the first time I heard this story, I was just in awe. I was shocked. I was like, is this lady really going to get away with murdering someone because of a cannabis-induced psychosis? What the fuck is that? I mean, for real, let's just be real. A cannabis-induced psychosis causes you to stab someone 108 times with 3 different knives? Because you were afraid, you lost your mind. She's sitting here, oh, well, ask Chad. I don't know what happened. I know I didn't do it. I was just watching it. Man, I feel so bad for Chad's family. I feel bad for Chad. Chad probably, and let me tell you, before I even get into it, I can really relate. I am a lover of cannabis. I've been so for a big part of my life. And I can sit here and tell you all that I myself have given, and currently whenever I do smoke, I like to do dabs. I have given people their first hit of weed, whether it be a joint, a bong, or a dab. I want to say probably 30 people, if not more, in my lifetime. I have gotten people high as fuck for their first time in their lives. I'm sure over 30 people. Dabs, concentrated dabs to the dome. They're coughing their lungs up. Me and this person are by ourselves. I cannot say that I can see this happening. And okay, of course they get some quack doctor up here. Well, it's rare, but it does happen. She goes on to say that she's thankful that the paramedics saved her life. Because she stabbed herself like 43 times, and she stabbed her dog. Make of that what you will, okay? What I'm saying is that there's no way she should have gotten off with probation and community control. No way. And I didn't play the part in the video where it talked about how she was born with some kind of hearing issue, and that there's like some mental health traits in her family. And you heard the guy, he was like, well, if you have any sort of mental health history, or if anyone in your family has it, you know, you could potentially, on the 1 in a billion chance, maybe even 1 in a trillion. I mean, how many people have smoked weed in the existence of human beings since we started smoking weed? And how many times have you heard about this? But apparently, even if you don't have the history of mental health, if someone in your family has it, then you could hit a bong one time and grab 3 knives and slice and dice somebody 108 times, and then go before the judge and say, hey, well, yeah, judge, you know, I got high as fuck, I got scared, and I don't know what happened, I just stabbed him 108 times, then I started stabbing myself. How do we know that there was not some kind of fucked up interaction that happened between them? And I mean, who knows? Maybe she panicked after she realized that she killed Chad, and then just possibly wanted to cut herself up. Maybe she tried to kill herself, I don't know. But to say that someone can take three different knives? I mean, I could almost give a little bit of benefit of the doubt if it was one knife and who knows, it was just right there, it was an accident, she stabbed him 2 times or some shit like that. 108 times? 3 different knives? Come on, man. And then here's the judge. Oh, well, you know, she couldn't foresee, nor could Chad, that this would have happened. So you're saying that because there's never been an incident like this where Chad would have thought, okay, if I give this bitch a hit of the bong, that she'll kill me, because Chad didn't think that would happen, that, oh, well, yeah, it's, you know, she doesn't deserve prison. She should just get 2 years of probation and then go and, like his dad said, just go and talk to people about the problems with weed or whatever it is that she's running her mouth about now. And the fact that the bitch is appealing her conviction so that she can practice medicine. She should be in prison for killing this man. Let alone, not only did she get a slap on the wrist for taking a life after doing something that she intentionally did. It was not even like he slipped her a weed brownie or a chocolate bar with mushrooms or something like that. She agreed. She met up with Chad. Chad told her, we're gonna go and smoke, hit this bong. She hit it, and then she took the man's life. That has never happened. Oh, and this quack doctor, oh, well, yeah, well, you know, technically it can. And they also mentioned some other, you know, case somewhere else in Europe or something. Yeah, this shit is gonna pop up now more often because you let this bitch get away with it. So now, yeah, well, I'm gonna take a hit of a joint. I'm gonna say that I never smoked before in my life. How do we even know that that's not true? I mean, how do we even know that that's true? How do we know that she hasn't smoked before? This whole shit is fucked up. I feel so bad for Chad, for his family, for his friends, everyone that knew him, man. This is fucked up. But I would love to hear what you all have to say about this. What are y'all's opinions, thoughts, comments? Leave them below. Like the video, comment on the video, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Thank you all for coming back to my channel as usual. We gotta stay safe so that we can stay free.